For full access to the Vision 2030 National Development Plan, visit vision2030.gov.jm or call the Planning Institute of Jamaica at 876-960-9339.
And now, a special message from our Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake.
In 2023, many of you told us how pleasantly surprised you were with our first Transformations Expo. Be prepared to be amazed at Transformations Expo 2.0, People, Quality and Technology, coming from 2 locations at the National Arena in Kingston and simultaneously at the Montego Bay Community College from Thursday, June 19 to Sunday, June 22. Bring your friends. Bring your family. I'm looking forward to meeting you.
That's it for today's program. Join us next time when we highlight happenings roundabout JA. Until then, I'm Monique Whitfield with studio engineer Andre Sawyers. Walk good.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
2 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Monday, June 23, 2025. We are alive and well, and for that, we give God thanks. Good morning to you if you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9. Thank you so much for joining us on your radio. We appreciate your company there. If you're listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with a number 2 beside that. Go on over there and subscribe if you have not done so already. I want to say good morning to Juliet Sanchez, who is first in the chat this morning. Rick NYCJM, good morning to you as well. David Nebar, good morning. Tari, good morning to you. Chris Daly, good morning. Sonia Hutton, Monique Hunter, Rupert Wilson, Jean Sellers, Herman Hyatt, good morning to you. Ines Campbell Murray, top of the morning. Ryder 40, good morning to you. Da Basie, good morning. Everton D, good morning to you. Ann Clark, Andrew Last. Where is Andrew first? Arlene Rowe, Greg Smith, and all the others over there on YouTube. Big up on yourself every time. If you are listening from our mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, good morning to you. And those on our website, the Listen Now option there. Top of the morning to you as well. Thank you so much for making it Nationwide 90 FM this morning. It's a Monday morning, which means it's time for Immigration Mondays. All right, and inside Immigration Mondays this morning, we are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and the Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahaber. Good morning to you, ladies.
Good morning, Miss Nora. Good morning, Miss Lee, and good morning to our wonderful and loyal listeners and viewers. And big up, Mr. Daly.
Good morning, Nadine. Good morning, Nora. Good morning to our wonderful and loyal listeners and viewers. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you both. All right. So in true Immigration Mondays fashion, we are going to start with the updates, immigration-related matters concerning the United States and Canada. And once again, I think Opal may need the entire hour to give us her update. So let's start with Opal and then we go to Canada.
Okay, thank you, Nora. So one of the things, though, that I want to, I've been getting too many questions on this regarding what's happening now with everything that's happening in the United States. And one thing is that people are saying that they heard that if you're a legal permanent resident, there's now a new law that you can't return to the United States. And I think, Nora, it's some videos that have been going around, as usual, like our famous questions that we always get.
Yes.
And so people must be mindful about what they're seeing and, come to the right station, like Nationwide, and get the real thing, because that's fake. That's false news. If you're a lawful permanent resident, absent certain things, and we have talked about this, for example, you're not seeking, if you're a lawful permanent resident, you're not seeking admission to the United States unless if you have abandoned your residence, and that's why you see when people are in Jamaica for longer than they should have, or if you spend at least 6 months, 180 days outside the US, that's 6 months. That's why I always tell people, do not, as a permanent resident, even though your residence is not technically abandoned, the 60 months is really the 1 year, but you're actually seeking admission if you let 6 months catch you outside the United States. And of course, if you have some illegal activity, if you've ever been committed certain crimes, for example, you will be seeking admission. So absent, those, and there are a few more things. If you're ever in doubt, of course, do a consultation with an immigration attorney so you can get the legal information there. Another thing is that there is now a new update in terms of people who are coming in for those F visas, which is the student visas, the J visas, those exchange and work visas. You are now going to have to open up your social media. They're basically stating that they now want it to be, if you have it set up private and you're applying for those visas, they want to see it set at public. And that's because they're going to be scrutinizing to see if there's anything that you may have in your social media that might be deemed harmful or contrary to the United States. As of, I think it's July 1, I believe, if you're in Jamaica and you're going to be applying for a visiting visa, you now will have to, and you're going, of course, it's US dollars, but it's now going to be 165 Jamaican dollars to $1 for those visiting visa application fees. I believe it started July 1 at 12:01 a.m. So the consular exchange rate will now be $165 instead of the $1. Another thing is that, yes, we continue to see those rates. I mean, I wanted to give an update today to say that people who are in the restaurants, farmers, and the agriculture, agriculture, farmers, hotels, and restaurants, because President Donald Trump had been going back and forth. At 1 minute, they were doing a lot of raids. Then President Trump came back and said, you know what, those are vital to the economies. And he's hearing a lot of people telling him to hold off because, come on, we need to eat. And if those farmers are not going out there to do it, those immigrants, who is going to do it? But then he flipped again and said, nope, and then he had paused the raids. So he had paused the raids and then he said, hold up, go back on the raids. I'm not sure if right now, if he went back again, and it's now, so I'll give an update on that maybe next week. But as for people who are, if you're going, this is very important. If you have an interview in the United States, you're married to a U.S. citizen, for example, or you have a child who is at least 21 years old who is filing for you. If you have overstayed your visa, because usually I wouldn't have to tell you this, if you have overstayed your visa, we all know, or we did know, that it is an excuse, meaning it's not something that will deem you that inadmissible to get your green card. Now, what we see that ICE is doing with USCIS is that if it's likely that your interview is going to be denied, your adjustment is going to be denied, at that interview, they may go ahead and contact ICE, and ICE might be waiting for you at the door of your interview. So you're walking out with your spouse, you just answered the questions, you thought you did well, and sometimes, they would have put one person out into the waiting room, that your spouse, and then they ask you certain questions. What color was the bed sheet, for example, or to draw a diagram, describe how your your bedroom set up and your house. And then if they are thinking something is off and they're likely to deny your application, you could have ICE right there waiting for you. That's because, you have another violation, which is the overstay. As I said before, they never normally bother people who had that overstay. I mean, I'll give some more information on that on our Instagram page and give you, preparation to how to prepare for those interviews. But one of the main things for our listeners and callers today and viewers is that just make sure you're very well prepared. If you know you have overstayed your visa and you're going into a marriage spousal interview, please have tons of evidence that the marriage is bona fide, so you don't really run the risk of it likely to be denied. Don't listen to some people and say, oh, you just need maybe a few pictures here and there. No, they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's to make sure that the marriage is bona fide. So please have lots. Give them the more things. Sometimes my client said, oh my God, Miss Lee, you want too much. I said, yes, give it to them. It better you give them everything. And just show that your marriage is real, joint bank accounts, life insurance, leaving each other as beneficiary, show that it's being paid. So show the bank account that it's coming from, because some people do the life insurance, but then they cancel after like a month or two. And so USCIS know this. So they want to see that the policy, for example, is current, car registration, loads of things. But it's too much to talk about right now, as Nora says, and I've already taken up all the time, but I'll try and put some of more tips on my Instagram.
Okay.
Over to you, Nadine.
Thank you so much, Opa. Nadine. Is Nadine there? Nadine, your time.
Yes, Nora, thank you. Okay, so Nora, for Canada, what I actually wanted to touch on real quickly is for persons who have been removed from Canada. If you are looking at going back to Canada, depending on the conditions when you were removed, you will need to see if you have to apply for what is called an authorization to return to Canada. Now, Nora, if the person also had any criminal record, you will also need to look at whether or not you would qualify for a record suspension. It used to be called a pardon before. It is now called a record suspension. So in addition to whatever application you're looking at doing, whether it's a visitor's visa or a temporary resident permit, if you are inadmissible, of course, so you'd be looking at doing your TRP, or if it is a spousal application, if you have a spouse who is sponsoring you, in addition to the authorization to return to Canada if you were removed, and the record suspension. First, you have to do your record suspension if there's a criminal record. Then you would do the other two applications. If we have time after the break, Nora, of course, I can go into more detail. Thank you.
No problem. We'll do that. We are going to take a break. And when we come back, we continue with the update from Canada, just some more details from Nadine. And then we will open the phone lines and take your calls. Just to remind you, the phone lines, 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. We take a break and come back with more Immigration Mondays.
Decorate and redecorate your space with water-resistant, colorful, and fast-drying paints from Edgechem Paints. The time by Edgechem Paints, changing lives 1 gallon at a time, is
9:15.
For over 30 years, Prince & Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Prince & Charles.
Who shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. Just before the break, Nadine was giving us some information on persons who were removed from Canada and need to return, what you need to do in different circumstances. You can continue with those details just before we go to the phone lines, Nadine.
Okay, thanks, Nora. So, Nora, you know, removal orders, person would say, okay, I've been deported from Canada, right? So if you were, I'm going to say in quotes, deported, or depending on the type of removal order you received, then you would need to see whether you need to apply for the authorization to Canada. For Canada, there's a departure order, there's an exclusion order, and there is a deportation order. With the departure order, normally if you're given that order, you need to leave within 30 days. The exclusion order normally says you can't return to Canada within 1 year or 5 years in the case of misrepresentation. And of course, the departure order, they'll say this is permanently barring you from entering Canada.
The deportation order.
Right, the deportation order. However, you can apply for the authorization to return to Canada if you were given a deportation order. And if you had a criminal record, so then we would need to look and see, okay, do you now qualify for a record suspension? Because depending on what your sentence was, we would need to see how much time needs to pass before you can apply for your record suspension. And then now this would be in addition to whatever other immigration application you're doing, Nora. So is it that you want to look at visiting? This is, of course, one of the most challenging to do because we would need to show that, yes, if you are granted a visitor or what we would call a temporary resident permit for persons who are inadmissible, would you maintain the terms and conditions of that visa based on the fact that, yes, you violated previous terms and conditions of your stay.
Right.
If you're doing a spousal application, again, we would need to show the same thing. But in this case, okay, do you have a genuine relationship with the person that is sponsoring you? So there is hope for persons who were removed. Again, if they need more details, they can always contact our office. Thank you, Nora.
All right. Thank you so much, Nadine, for that information. And before Opal, especially know it's very important that you pay attention to the news and where factual information is being shared, because there's lots of information out there for you to sift through. And if you aren't careful, you might be taking in some incorrect information and advise yourself incorrectly. So ensure that you're listening to factual sources, credible sources, to get your information where immigration is concerned. All right, we're gonna go to the phone lines now. Anne is our first caller this morning. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning to you, and a pleasant morning to the other ladies.
Good morning.
I have two questions directed to Miss Mahabir. The other day I called about where my visa was refused because I ticked that I extended my time, but it was approved by IRCC and they declined it. You said I could reapply based on the fact that it was not a wrongful extension. Recently, they brought out the Strong Border Act that mentioned something about something similar to what I did. How would this affect my reapplication?
Okay, so I would need to look at the details of what they have stated as it relates to visitors. What they're saying is, okay, they're looking at things in more detail. But the issue is you applied for and you were granted an extension in Canada.
Yes.
So you did not stay without status because you did apply for your extension before your time expired.
Yes.
And that
it was approved.
That you need to explain that information in a new application and provide the supporting documents to show. You can include the copy of your IRCC receipt, which of course would show the date that you paid, and you would have received a letter of confirmation of submission when you submitted your application. So you would want to include that letter to show the date that you actually applied for your extension. And then, of course, the subsequent extension, the visitor record that you would have received in Canada.
Yes. Okay.
So you want to ensure that you provide all the necessary supporting documents with your new application.
Okay. One other thing. With regard to financial support and the bank statements that they ask for, they say like 6 months information, but giving all this information for 6 months with about, say, 7 pages of each would be a lot to upload. How do I address this? Can I just get a summary from the bank, a letter to say, well, I have X amount there, rather than all these pages to upload?
You can get a bank statement, well, of course, a statement from the bank, and you could probably include maybe 3 months of, do you get like a statement every month for your account?
Yes, I do.
So maybe if it's a lot of bank accounts that you have, then you could probably include 3 months of statements. The thing is, you don't want to be showing lump sum deposits in your account.
Yes.
If you are showing lump sum deposits, then you need to show where the funds are coming from. Is it from your income? Is it, do you have a business? Did you receive maybe your pension plan? Where did the funds come from? Pretty much you need to show the paper trail.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Okay, you're very welcome. Good luck.
All right, bye-bye. Anne, thank you so much for calling. Charlie is up next. Good morning, Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Good morning. Hello.
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. I was hoping that you might can give me some solution to the new policy that U.S. immigration came down with.
This call will be recorded.
Hello?
Yes, which policy?
He stated that all citizens and green card holder in America for this year or for this to the period. He said that they're gonna hold all travel documents.
Where did you see this information?
It came up on my phone was last night.
On what? What platform were you seeing it on? We're on WhatsApp, TikTok?
It was, on TikTok.
Okay. Opal?
See, okay, this is what we're talking about. Caller, I don't know if you listened to the first part of the program where I kind of explained this, so be very mindful. Since all this has been happening, there are a lot of supposedly experts now. Some of these people are not even attorneys, Nora. And so people have all of a sudden overnight become immigration experts. Caller, there's no update where that's concerned. If you're a United States citizen, you're fine. First of all, if you're a United States citizen and you're entering the United States, the Customs and Border Patrol cannot tell a United States citizen they cannot enter. no matter what. I don't care with all that thing that we talked about with people saying you enter another country with another passport, and you gave this passport. It doesn't matter. If you're a United States citizen, they have to let you in to the United States. There are other means if they want to strip you of your United States citizenship. Once maybe you're here, they could apply to do that and they better come with some good evidence why it is that they should strip you of that United States citizenship, but that's for a different topic. Please be very mindful of those TikTok that you're listening to. There's nothing, it's also false that says if you're a permanent resident, and we talked about this before, that, you can't return. I already explained this limited circumstances. For example, if you have a criminal record, if you have had any arrests, even if you think it's minor, I would suggest you speak with an attorney. That's something that could bar you from coming into the United States as a lawful permanent resident. If you have spent too much time outside, for example, 6 months or more, if you're spent 6 months, you're now asking for admission to the United States, even as a lawful permanent resident. So I warn against that. If you didn't spend 6 months, if you've been spending like 3 months and then come back to the United States for 1 week or 2 weeks and then going back out and spending another 3, 4, 5 months, you could be in jeopardy of them asking you to sign that I-407 to give up your green card. But sir, if you're a lawful permanent resident or a United States citizen, you don't have any criminal record, you don't have anything that might deem you inadmissible or any of those extended travel patterns, you have nothing to worry about. Especially if you're a U.S. citizen, you really have nothing to worry about.
What you said its name? I-170?
I-407. That's for lawful permanent residents. Yes. What happened is do not sign that. That's a form you're not supposed to sign. If you're given that form by DHS, Department of Homeland Security, when you're coming in, then do not sign that. That's saying that you're going to give up your green card. You don't want to do that without seeking competent legal advice and know your rights, because you have the right as a lawful permanent resident to go before the courts to defend your green card.
All right, Ms. Opal. I'll be speaking with you again, Ms. Opal.
I think... Yes, what I'm going to do, listen, I'm going to start doing some more TikTok videos now.
There you go. Yes, you need to start putting out some.
And I'll put them on my Instagram page or business Instagram page, because this is getting out of control.
It is. All right. Take care, Charlie, and all the best to you. Yeah, there needs to be more factual information going out there to counter all the other videos that are being uploaded, and they go up so easily and quickly. So those who have the right information, Opal and your other attorney colleagues, you guys need to get on board with TikTok as well. We are almost at the break, so I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information before we go. Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Or you may follow us on Instagram at FlowJam Legal. That's FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Ms. Nora. Over to you.
Thank you, ladies. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we have more Immigration Mondays.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:30.
the gateway for Jamaica's athletes to several international competitions, including the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Opens from Thursday, June 26 to Sunday, June 29 for the J3A National Junior and Senior Championships, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. The biggest names in local track and field, with the men's section including the likes of Olympic silver medalist Shane Thompson, Oblique Seville, Akeem Blake, Antonio Watson, Christopher Taylor, Rashid Broadbent, Olympic champion Roger Stoner, Rajendra Campbell, Wayne Pinner, and Romaine Beckford. The female division will be no less fascinating, with two-time reigning world champion Sharika Jackson, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, the Clayton Twins, Tia and Tina, Alana Reed, Akira Nugent, Rochelle Clayton, and Shanika Ricketts. The action will be sizzling.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Get ready for the Magic 5K Summer Run Walk presented by Lorna Auto Prep. Join us on June 29, 2025 at Lorna Auto Prep for an exciting 5K race starting at 7 a.m. It's fun, fitness, and community all in one. Early bird registration is just $1,200. Groups of 10 or more pay $1,200 each, and regular entry is $1,500. Sign up now at lornaautopprepja.com/5K. Run for health, win for life.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays. We're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And we are taking your calls. If you have any immigration-related matters, you can give us a call. The numbers to call 876-630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374 and 618-8255. We're going to go back to the phone lines now. Miss Henry, good morning. Good morning, Miss Henry. Miss Henry, are you there? Okay, not hearing Miss Henry. So let's take some questions from the YouTube chat. First question I'm seeing here is for you, Opal. It says, good morning. Please ask Opal if you can travel from the U.S. to Jamaica on your green card along with your Jamaican passport while your U.S. passport is processing.
Okay, so no, that's not advisable. While Jamaica will definitely take you in, I mean, you have a Jamaican passport, you're going to have problems returning because if you're now a United States citizen, you're not supposed to be using a permanent resident card to get back in. My advice to that person, if it looks like, they're now a U.S. citizen and has only applied for the U.S. passport, maybe I'm assuming that they did their naturalization and they now have a naturalization certificate, which you now need to send that naturalization certificate to get the U.S. passport. I tell my clients, make sure you do a very good copy of that, scan it, keep it locked on your computer as well, just in case that get lost. So you'll have a copy, but you now need to, what you should have done to get that passport, you could expedite it. And a matter of fact, if that's now in progress, you can go ahead to the Department of State, show them that you have a ticket to go to Jamaica, and you can even ask for this to be overnight. You can search the Department of State to see the closest office that you can go to. I've had people do this all the time, and I've gotten back their U.S. passports in even a couple of days. So no, go ahead and expedite that passport and then travel with your U.S. passport, because you won't be able to come back in to the United States without that U.S. passport.
All right. Thank you so much, Opal. Miss Lucille, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Nora.
Morning.
And good morning to Miss Opal and Miss Nadine. My question is for you, Miss Opal. Yes, I am citizen both America and in Jamaica. I don't know how that fits, but I am a retired person, and I used to travel 6 months here and 6 months there. But I use my Jamaican passport to come down here, and when I'm going back, I use my U.S. passport. But now I heard it's rumored that if you come down on your Jamaican passport, you can get back there on your U.S. passport. Can you clarify that for me, please?
Nora, how much money you want to give me today? Because I think I should have bet you on this. That we're going to have this question.
I wouldn't take the bet.
All right.
Well, yes, we talk about this on Nationwide almost every Monday now. That's so forgive me. That's why we're laughing. Not at you, but just at the situation. But you're fine, caller. That's a bogus. That's another TikTok. I think I've posted one debunking that. I've also had that pinned on my Instagram account. I've answered this question on our Instagram, and I've actually pinned it to the top. You're fine. You're safe. Go ahead. And you're a U.S. citizen. That is great. You cannot, under any circumstance, be not permitted back into the United States. I don't care what passport you'd have given to somebody else when you were entering that country. So yes, you're a dual citizen of Jamaica, and you may have given them your Jamaican passport. That is fine. Continue to, you're doing the right way. I mean, the thing is that there are other people who they play around and they don't get their U.S. citizenship, and then now they're panicking. And by the way, you don't have to be doing the 6 month thing. You can chill in Jamaica for the next 10 years if you want to.
Okay.
And then re-enter because you're a U.S. citizen.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. citizens don't have that 6 month, 1 year bar that we're talking about, or that limit on staying outside the United States. It's the green card holders that cannot stay out or should not stay out for 6 months or more.
Okay, thank you so much.
But you're fine. So you can stay there for Christmas if you want.
Another short question. I was thinking, because I had a grandson once, and the mother was in the army, citizen army, but she had to send my grandchild down here, and my daughter didn't hear, which is now in America, but at the time she went to Kingston, I think it's the embassy, to get some stamp or other that the child could stay here. How does that work? Can I do that? That I can be.
So that's speaker. Caller, what happened is that the child is a U.S. citizen, correct?
Yes.
And so on the virtue of having a Jamaican parent, they want to show that they can stay in Jamaica for a longer time, correct? The child?
Yes.
Correct. So what the child does is go to PICA to get that stamp, or the mother or the parent takes the child to get that Jamaican stamp to show that the child can stay there for extended period.
Okay. Okay, my dear. Thank you so much. And I listened to you. I called your office before when I was doing papers for my kids, but everything went well and they all are there. Only I moved back to here. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Miss Nadir, Miss Nora. You're doing a very good job.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Lucille. You take care now.
Okay, bye-bye now. Thanks.
All right. Let's continue with the callers. Robert, good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Trying to find out. I have a situation here. It's about Canada immigration.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm trying to apply for a visa for my daughter. But however, it keeps on being denied. I've been doing it myself online. The other kids got theirs, but however, the one that is 16 years old did not get hers. So I'm trying to get some help towards this. Is there an office location I could come into?
You may contact our office to schedule an appointment.
Could I have a number?
Right now, we're mostly doing consultations remotely. You can continue listening, and we'll give out our numbers before the program ends.
Okay.
All right, Robert, that's it?
All right, thank you.
All right, just keep listening, and you'll hear the numbers soon. All right, let's continue. Anne-Marie, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'd like to speak to Miss Opali.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, sorry, my mom filed for my family. I would like to know, can any of my family members travel before me, or is all of us have to travel together?
Okay, good morning. So is your mother filing for you and your family? So
Yes.
they're derivatives?
Yes, my family.
So you, right, so
I'm
they
the
can't
primary
get
person.
the green card. So you have to migrate first or with them.
Okay.
But remember, all you have to do is land. Once you land in the United States, you're considered a permanent resident. So you can land, and then, once you have that, your landing endorsed, you can then go back to Jamaica even within a month or so after. But you are the primary. So you need to, if you don't migrate, they can't migrate.
Okay, so my husband can come after then if I go before him. I have to go before him. Yes.
But I've stated on this program before, listen, all of you are a permanent resident. You're not considered a permanent resident until you've landed. The sooner you guys land, the better it is. Because if they stay there, you could be, if you have gotten that not green card, you don't get that yet. You will never get that green card until you've landed. So while you guys are there right now, thinking about when to travel, your immigrant visa could be canceled.
Oh.
It can be canceled for any reason at all. They could say, US the embassy could look back and say, you know what, maybe they shouldn't have gotten it, and they could immediately revoke this. So you need to land. Once you land, then you guys can decide who come back first or whatever it is. My thing is land. Please just land in the US. Worry about everything else afterwards.
Okay, thank you. One more question. My daughter is in the last year of UE. It's okay when we land, she can come back to finish up school.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, if it's the last year, remember what we talked about earlier, you don't want to spend 6 months or more outside the United States. So she must be very, very careful. And the things that if she's doing that in UA and spending 4 months, 5 months, and then going back to the US for 2 weeks, she might get some problems where the Customs and Border Patrol will question her. Just have her show her documentation that, listen, I'm residing in the US. I'm just finishing up something real quick temporarily. And just do not let her sign that I-407 that I was talking about earlier. That's to give up the green card.
Okay.
And if she knows she's going to spend, a very longer time, she can also file for the re-entry permit. That's for her to stay outside the U.S. for 2 years or more at a time without being bothered. I don't like that because I like when my clients go ahead and just spend all the time in the U.S. and just get that citizenship out the way. Just get your U.S. citizenship. Because the I-131, it does not give you don't get that time back that you're spending outside towards your citizenship.
Okay. What's the name of the form you said? I'm just writing it down.
I-131, the re-entry permit. I-131. That allows somebody to stay outside the U.S. for 2 years, up to 2 years.
And which one she should not sign?
I-407. Do not sign that. Tell them on the advice of counsel. With all due respect, I decline.
All right. Thank you much.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, and all the best to you and your family. We're almost up on the break, so I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information for those who may be waiting on it. Nadine, you can go ahead, and then Opal.
Thanks, Nora. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Over to you, Ms. Opal.
Thank you, Nadine. For Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That is 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. May follow us on Instagram and TikTok at FlowJam Legal. That's FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nora.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have more Immigration Mondays.
your prescriptions. Get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the annual Realign Business and Investment Conference 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus on Wednesday, June 25. Join us for the Realign Business and Investment Conference featuring keynote speaker, Ambassador Audrey Marks, Ambassador Janet Alyssa, and visionary investor David Mullings. This event focuses on investments and partnerships, powering economic prosperity, engaging global Africa. Don't miss this opportunity to connect, invest, and grow. Be part of the movement. Realign your future today. So tune in to Cliff Views Online June 25 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the annual Realign Business and Investment Conference 2025 at the Jamaica Pegasus. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Entrepreneurial Partners Limited.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. The phone lines have been busy since we started the program. Don't think we have gotten a chance to go over to YouTube just yet. Well, maybe for one question, but we still have a caller on the line. Gwendolyn. Good morning, Gwendolyn.
Nora, I would like to ask, this is Marbir. I have a 10-year visitor visa, and I have it now over a year, and about a year and 6 months. I went up a year ago for only 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks I spent, and I would like to go back now to visit my friends, and I would like to, if I could get 2 months or 3 months, if he could assist me in advising me what to do.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you retired, miss?
Pardon me?
Are you currently retired, or are you still working?
I'm still working, and I have a 10-year visa. To be honest with you, it's my granddaughter.
You're visiting your granddaughter?
Yes, she's unable to come, so she asked me to find out for her. She went up last year. For 1 year now, she hasn't been back. And she has a 10-year visa. Hello?
Oh, you're calling regarding your granddaughter, not...
Yes.
Okay, sorry, okay.
She has a 10-year multi-bit, right, and she went up 1 year, a year ago, and for just only less than 2 weeks, she hasn't been back there. So she wants to go back now to spend about 2 months or 3 months. What I'm asking you, if you think that time is too long to ask for when she reaches the immigration.
Well, it depends on the reason. Is she a student? Like, does she get 2 months summer vacation? Is that why she's going for summer vacation? Or what is her reason for wanting to be in the country for so long?
No, she's going up, to visit her friends and so on and so forth. So I was wondering if 2 months would be okay if she asked for that.
Again, it depends on her situation. If she'd like to contact our office to have a consultation done, because normally, you know, as we would say, if you're planning to be in Canada and possibly...
It's not Canada, it's America.
Oh, because you said Miss Mahabir. Miss Mahabir is the Canadian immigration consultant.
Oh, it's America. It's not Canada.
Okay, so your question is directed to Miss Opal Lee then.
Yes, Miss Opal.
Okay.
Okay. All right, caller. I am nervous about that 2 months, especially that 3 months, because you answered the question earlier where Nadine, Ms. Mahabir asked you, and you said this person is working. So what employer is going to give you?
She has 2 kids here, and what happens?
So is she working in Jamaica?
Not at the moment. She's not.
Okay, so she's unemployed. I mean, that is very concerning to me that she's going to spend 3 months in the U.S. because the thing is that when you spend 3 months, what they're thinking, what Customs and Border Patrol is going to ask her, what is she going to do for the whole 3 months? And she can't just say, oh, visit friends here and there. They're going to be triggered because they're going to think that she's going to get a little work under the table job and work on. That's the only thing that is going to be on their mind. Especially, it's a red flag when you're saying you're going to be spending friends here and there because they're thinking she's going to be helping out friends and family members, maybe doing some babysitting here, maybe going to their restaurant if they have a restaurant or a hair salon or something and doing some things for 3 whole months. What she should do, especially if she's unemployed right now, she better prepare to show all her money in her bank account and show that she has all this money, that she has money to be spending for the next 3 months to just go be doing vacation, tourist type stuff and need a break. But that's going to be a red flag if this woman is unemployed and going to spend 3 months. If she's unemployed and going for 3 months, where's she getting that money to be supporting herself for the next 3 months in the U.S.?
Could I ask you something?
Sure.
Suppose she applied for 2 months then. Would that be okay?
Ma'am, I think the same question that Nadine was asking me before, I'm telling you, I don't know how important those friends are. She really needs to think about, especially the immigration climate that we're in right now. Spending because no employer usually will give you 2 months off. So she's going to be red flagging her own self by telling them that she doesn't have a job. She has nothing going on for her right now in Jamaica, nothing.
Oh, so if she had a job, what would she have to present?
Her job letter to show that she's on a leave or vacation and she just really needs this time to be chilling. And remember, we didn't talk about this earlier, Nora, with, the intended, we're going to call it intended World War III. There's going to be a lot of travel advisors right now. People must be very careful about, there's going to be heightened travel, going back and forth. And in the United States, and people must be very careful when they're traveling. But this is something, caller, your granddaughter is she's unemployed, nothing going on for her right now, and she want to come and spend 2-3 months. She must be very careful. That's all I'm saying. I would not buy that ticket to spend more than 3 weeks. What kind of friends she want to be visiting? I love you so much, but I don't think I would want to come and visit you and look into your face for 3 months. I'm sorry.
Suppose she decided to spend 3 weeks. And they granted 3 weeks. How would she know that the 3 weeks is granted because they are not putting it in the book again?
It's not granted. Ma'am, I think you're confused. It's not granted. When you enter the United States, you have a return ticket. They ask you how long. And I'm telling you right now, don't let her come. If she knows she's going to spend 2 weeks, 2 months, don't let her be lying, especially since you're calling on her behalf now. To be saying that, you know what, I'm going to trick them. I'm going to put 3 weeks, and then when I come, I spend 3 months. Do not do that. Because the next time she travels, they may bring that up and say, oh, your ticket says 3 weeks, but I see you spend 2 months or 3 months, and she's going to have to explain that. My thing is that I don't know how important these friends are to her, but if those friends are so important that it's enough to run the risk of losing her 10-year green visa, it's up to her. I don't know what she's going to be doing to be looking in those friends' face for 2 months or 3 months. I would not do that unless she has a lot of money, as I said before, if she's well off, and make sure she has the money to show how she's going to support herself for the next 2 months. That's 8 weeks.
It's better she go up for 2 or 3 weeks then.
Yeah, because I'm saying, how is she, ma'am, you're still not answering. How is she going to support herself for 8 weeks? In the United States? I can't even look in my friend's face for 3 weeks. Seriously.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
You're very welcome.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Let's squeeze this last caller in, Mr. B. Good morning. Mr. B, it's your time. Good morning, Mr. B.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Good morning to Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. This is for Opal, please. I want to find out two quick things. As an LPR, I would find an extension for your tax returns. Is that okay going back in? Or because I'm
traveling?
to you at the moment.
You're talking about just traveling, not applying for citizenship, just traveling? Yeah, you're fine. If you owe taxes and you know you're filed for an extension, that is quite fine. That's not something to stop you from re-entering the U.S. It's only when you're filing for your citizenship. If you owe any taxes, you're going to have to show that you have made a suitable arrangement with IRS to repay whatever you owe.
Okay, I mean, I never filed for 20 last year, so just what an extension was filed for. Should I have
right? That still has nothing to do with your traveling, sir. That's fine. You can travel.
Your audio is very, very bad. We struggled to hear the first question. Your audio is very bad, Mr. B.
I think the signal is where I am.
Yeah, that we're losing you. I'm so sorry, we're unable to hear that final question. But give us a call back next week if you can. We're gonna have to wrap up the program here and make way soon for Cliff Hughes Online. So I'm gonna allow you ladies to give your contact information once more before we go. Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you so much, Nora. So Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Our handle is at Flow Jam Legal. That's FLOJAMLEGAL, Flow Jam Legal. Have a good week, everyone, and be safe in the United States and all over the world. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Ms. Nora, and have a super productive week, everyone.
Thank you, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. See you next week, Monday. That's where we're going to leave it for Immigration Mondays. We're making way now for Cliff Hughes Online.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM with Pepita and Honeybee.